today's section, we're going to take a look at the split tool for Inventor. The split tool can be used in various forms. I will be using it on a surface that we've used in one of our previous examples. So the split tool is great for being able to take a body and then cut it up into segments that you can use for other purposes. So we're going to take a look at how we want to cut this geometry up. So in this example, we want to create a cutout that needs to represent an elliptical hole that needs to cut this body. So you could have just used a normal extrude and cut that out. That is the alternative. I just want to show you how to use the split tool in order to be able to create that representation. The split tool can be used for other scenarios as well. So in this case, I'm going to create a sketch in plan view on our origin X Z plane. And what I'm going to do is create a spline between a couple of bodies. Create that. And that's going to represent our split tool. So if we go to creating an extrude out of that, it's automatically going to be a surface because it's actually just infinitely thin, and it'll accept that. So I want to cut our housing at this curve of this item. The other option is I want to also do a split where it deletes the left or the right. The split tool can handle those options. So if we activate the split tool then asks us what is the tool that we are cutting with specifically. So we're cutting with this surface, and then what faces are we going to cut? Now you can select a 3D body as well as a solid. So at this stage, solids is turned off. If I activate solids button, it'll select the next closest solid that's already traversing that surface. So that's automatically been selected. If there were other bodies, you could select additional bodies. Then we've got some behavior options. We've got split and keep both sides. So wherever the split line is going through, it's going to keep the left and the right. We have split solid and keep default side, and then opposite side. So if we look at the default side, we've got a representation of the direction that it's going to cut away. If we use opposite side, it's going to cut away. So let's take a look at that. That cuts it away. With that, we can swap that around. So just edit feature, keep both sides. If we do split body by both sides, it'll then activate a tab called bodies, which we can now have independent control of. So I can actually turn that one off. It's independent, yet it's still related to how it's constructed. So there are parameters that are still controlling the creation of that surface around that one. The next option is to create another surface. So I'll create a similar sketch on the same plane. This time it's going to be an ellipse. And we can extrude that out as a surface as well. Surface is defaulted to on at the top there. If it's going to be a solid, it'll go to a different color. We'll say OK to that. That is now going to be another split tool. Alternatives, I'm just going to turn off this thicken surface and then turn on the original surface. So we'll just make this visible. Turn these two bodies off. Okay, so you will notice that the actual surface hasn't been split. The solid was split. In this case, I'm going to split the surface. If we activate split, the split tool, and then what are we going to split? It says solid. We don't want to split the solid. We want to switch it to faces. So we'll split that one. This one's easy because it's actually totally enclosed except for that crossover there. So you will have some discrepancies if you don't select this one. Alternatively, you can select all faces. It'll actually go and try and cut across all of them. Obviously, it doesn't cut those anyway. And it'll generate a split profile of where this intersects with that. It doesn't have to be a linear extrude. It could have been a non-linear item as well. So that would have been another example that you could have used. And that's the split tool. In the next section, we'll take a look at how do we use what's called delete face in order to clean out some of the geometry or sketch features or surface features if you don't need all of them. Check out the rest of our series if you want to see more. Thanks.